Right now on News 3, dangerous road conditions around the state as temperatures continue to fall, approaching what will likely be some of the coldest days in years.
And with the potentially life-threatening temperatures, how to make sure your heating system is working properly when it's needed the most.
This is News 3 at 10.
Thank you for joining us tonight. The weather continues to dominate headlines.
Mother Nature just hasn't given us a break. Between 3 snowstorms and significant stretches of bitter cold connected them today, the governor declared a statewide state of emergency in preparation for even colder weather on the way, expecting to bottom out midweek. As we will all learn soon, we have continuing team coverage tonight. Amy Reed is live. Keely Arthur standing by in our news center.
But first, let's get right to our first alert forecast. Here's Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti on the backyard patio. Gary?
Boy, it just seems a lot colder than it was even a couple of hours ago, and there's not much of a wind yet, but we have alert days in the forecast for the possibility of some blowing and drifting snow. We've been seeing that in some of the rural areas where the light fluffy snow has been blown around. Low temperatures by morning should be down between about 5 and 10 below zero, with wind chills perhaps as cold as 30 or 35 below zero, but that's just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, except the iceberg is going down the other way. We're going to be at the bottom of the iceberg with wind chills perhaps as cold as 60 below zero by Wednesday morning, and wind chills even during the day on Wednesday between about minus 30 and minus 45, but low temperatures will be around 25 below zero for Wednesday and Thursday morning. High temperatures will stay below zero on Wednesday. Those high temperatures only reaching up into the middle teens below zero. The snowstorm has moved off to the east. A couple of flurries up around the La Crosse area. A lot of that not reaching the ground, so things pretty quiet around here. Skies are actually clear to partly cloudy. High temperatures were about midday, right around 21 here in Madison. To the west, temperatures didn't get out of the teens. It was in the 20s to the east, but now those temperatures have dropped off into the single digits in most areas. And the winds, while not terribly strong, are still in the 8 to 15 mile per hour range. So we're looking at wind chills now generally in the single digits and teens below zero, and those will continue to drop. There are wind chill advisories in effect all the way through much of the day tomorrow, and then wind chill warnings kick in tomorrow evening and last until Thursday noon. So that means a prolonged period of dangerously cold weather, and by tomorrow morning those temperatures will be down, like I say, around 7 below zero. Look for partly sunny skies, but it'll be windy and bitterly cold with high temperatures only around 1 degree below zero, and those wind chills during the day from 20 to 30 below zero. Later on I'll show you how cold it'll get midweek, but there's some good news, at least a warm up on the way for next weekend.
All right, thank you very much. So all of the snow today is really diminishing those road conditions, and live here at East Washington Avenue at Stoughton Road, you need to take it slow if you absolutely have to travel. And here's just an example of how quickly things can turn dangerous on the roads. This is video out of Milwaukee today. This van loses control and slides into the snow-covered barrier. We are told the driver of that van was not hurt.
Continuing our team coverage, Amy Reed joins us now from our garage to show us how the Dane County Highway Department wants you to be ready for these roads. Amy?
Yeah, we're in a bit of a unique spot tonight, but we wanted to take our own advice, get a little bit of protection from that cold. That cold out there making roads pretty slick, like you said, which means you could slide off. And in that case, experts want you to have an emergency kit on hand. Now, you can make this yourself. You can buy it at the store. We bought one for about $25. Let's open it up. Inside, we got a blanket that'll keep you warm in case you're stranded, a shovel so you can dig out. We have jumper cables in here, and we also have some tow straps, a flashlight, gloves. If you're building your own, you also want to add in food and water. Now, when we talked to the Highway Department today, they said that we haven't seen cold like this in decades, and that makes having one of these extra important this year.
If you're distracted and you get off the side of the road, when you're dealing with temperatures and wind chills of 50, 55 below, wind chill, a little bit of exposure is very, very dangerous.
Of course, the best way to avoid a slide-off is just to drive safely. That means slow down, put away your phone, pay attention to the roads, and if you can, just stay home.
Amy, thank you. The Madison School District has already canceled classes for tomorrow. Several others in the area have as well. With the coldest weather expected on Wednesday, UW-Whitewater has canceled classes from 5 p.m. today through Friday. If you see your school's canceled or delayed, we have the latest information at channel3000.com. That information also scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Madison Mayor Paul Soglin says a combination of road conditions and the temperatures outside will be deciding factors in whether the city's offices stay open.
We've had temperatures in the negative 20s before, and city services just continued. You know, there's people with court dates, there's people with appointments for permits.
City of Madison under a snow emergency until at least 7 a.m. tomorrow. City offices were open today and will likely remain open tomorrow as we get temperatures below zero, though, this week. The mayor asking you to check on your neighbors. Don't go outside alone. If we can, most of us will try to spend our time indoors over the next couple of days.
A major component of staying warm and cozy is our furnace. Keely Arthur shares how to keep it running when you need it the most. Keely?
Well, this stretch of cold can put a tremendous strain on your heating appliances, especially your furnace.
With the coldest weather we've seen in decades expected this week, it's important that your furnace remains functioning. And that's where technicians like Vernon Rathert come in.
We're running day and night, a lot of overtime calls.
If you're in this industry, you realize that, you need, when it's really, really cold, you need to be there for our customers.
Customers coming in droves as of late. All Comfort Services responded to nearly 100 calls just this weekend.
People they get a little nervous because houses can cool off rather rapidly. But we do what we can. We're running.
To do what you can to prevent an emergency visit from Vernon, make sure your filters are clean, have your furnace checked annually, keep outside vents clear of ice and snow, and replace your thermostat's batteries.
Those are the important things that you can control.
Something that's entirely out of your hands? Mother Nature. Most furnaces are designed to work within temps -15 and above. We're forecasting lower than that this week, adding more stress to your furnace and potentially slowing it down.
You may have your furnace, your thermostat set at 70 degrees, and it may only be 66 in your house. And it's not that your furnace is not working, it's just so cold outside that it's beyond the design temperature, and so it won't kind of keep up to that 70 degrees.
If your furnace does fail you, though, not to worry. Warmth and peace of mind is not far away.
We're available 24/7.
Other important tips: make sure your home doesn't go below 60 degrees. And if your thermostat is running a little slow, make sure to resist the urge and try not to crank it too much, something I'm definitely guilty of.
Same here. Keely Arthur, we're continuing our team coverage tonight. Keely, thank you. Keeping pets safe becomes a concern in this weather as well. We spoke with a local veterinarian who says if the temperature is 10 or below, they should wear a coat and booties. If they won't wear those booties, they need a musher's wax to cover their paws, and make sure to rinse off the salt on their feet because licking it can cause intestinal issues. Another tip: limit their time on concrete. Snow is warmer on their feet.
It's also been a tough day for air travelers, as you might imagine. Dane County Regional and Mitchell International Airport in Milwaukee have both had a few delays and cancellations. One man said he was headed for Florida. That sounds like a pretty good idea. He got all the way onto his plane, out to the runway even, before weather conditions forced them back inside.
They thought we'd be able to get out. They were going to run the plows down the runway one more time and said it would be about 10 minutes, and then they said it turned to freezing rain and they had to turn around.
Maybe they were just jealous of him. In total, thousands of flights were delayed or canceled all across the country. Hundreds of those were at O'Hare and Midway down in Chicago.
We will continue our team coverage as the week goes on. Be sure to watch News 3 this morning starting at 4:30 a.m. tomorrow for the latest weather-related information. Still ahead tonight, we'll get a closer look at just how cold it will get in the coming days.
But first, the News 3 exclusive as we enter American Heart Month, a local woman's life-saving message for women. That's next. Stay with us. This Friday marks the beginning of February, the start of American Heart Month, a time to raise awareness of the #1 killer of women.
Heart attacks in women can feel different and are easy to mistake. An Evansville woman is sharing her experience to send a life-saving message to other women with our Susan Simon.
I started having symptoms in October, and I really didn't. I justified every symptom I had.
Linda Diedrich is a mother of 3 who travels the country for work as a nurse consultant.
I'm a workaholic. I admit that. I was supposed to be at work that morning, and all that went through my head was, oh my gosh, I can't miss work.
At 51, active and healthy, a heart attack was the last thing on Linda's mind.
I had shortness of breath when I would be walking through airports, so I figured it was the difference of altitude. Then I would be tired and exhausted, and I figured it was the time changes because from East Coast to West Coast, so I figured it was the traveling. I had pain between my shoulders, and I felt maybe that was from my computer bag. So I was able to justify every symptom I had.
But that all stopped on November 19th when Linda was in Chicago for work.
And I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, started Googling heart attacks in women, and sat there for an hour and did that. And
so
then
something in the back of your mind was telling you.
Yes, absolutely.
You knew something was off.
Absolutely. So I packed my stuff up, I got myself down to my car, and I drove myself to the hospital, which I absolutely do not recommend. By the time I got into the ER, I was able to say my name and that I was having a heart attack, and that was about all I could get out.
Linda's blood work and EKG were normal, but she advocated for an angiogram, a medical imaging technique used to visualize the inside of the heart.
I really, really believe in angiograms, and there's a family history reason why that I do. My LAD, if you're a widowmaker, was 98% blocked, and I had no idea. And I don't think they had any idea at that point either.
Do you think about what would have happened if you had not gone to the hospital?
I do. I believe, and I've been told, that I probably would have been found dead in my hotel room.
80% of cardiac events in women can be prevented, yet heart disease remains the #1 killer, taking more lives than all forms of cancer combined.
So a woman who has a heart attack is more likely to die than a man who has a heart attack. And within a year after a heart attack, a woman's risk of having another heart attack or dying is much higher than a man's risk of dying. So it's a more lethal event in a woman.
Dr. Thomas Walhouse is Linda's cardiologist at Unity Point Health Meriter.
Women oftentimes have more atypical symptoms than men. And women, sometimes they're just short of breath, or sometimes they're nauseated, or sometimes they have back pain.
Dr. Walhouse says it's important for women of all ages to know their numbers.
Your cholesterol numbers, your blood pressure numbers, your BMI, and take your health seriously. So there's a lot you can do that's not medications. There's exercise, adequate sleep, healthy relationships, mindfulness and meditation. These are all things that can be done outside of the clinic that are important.
Family history is another major risk factor that Linda learned with the tragic passing of her cousin's husband, Keith.
He was out running, he's 57 years old, and had a massive heart attack and passed away. He had had a stress test just months before he died. It was normal. His death actually saved my life because my cousin and I talked, and I was able to push for an angiogram, knowing that I needed to.
You wouldn't have known that
I
without
wouldn't have
Keith's
known that.
experience.
I wouldn't have known it. So Keith did not die in vain. He saved my life.
The American Heart Association's National Wear Red Day is this Friday, February 1st, and people are encouraged to wear red to show support for women and cardiovascular disease.
And Madison's annual Go Red for Women luncheon is Friday, February 8th. That'll be at Monona Terrace. Go to heart.org/MadisonGoesRed for more information.
Let's go to Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti with a look at what we can expect in our first alert forecast. Hi, Gary.
Hi. You know, another risk factor for heart attacks is shoveling snow, as well as the extreme cold that puts a really big stress on your body's circulatory system. And those are the people that are really affected by bitter cold temperatures. Now, the snow wasn't any bargain either. The heaviest total I could find in southern Wisconsin, Saukville and Ozaukee County picked up 15 inches of snow. Neshkoro up in Marquette County, a little over 11 inches, or at 11 inches. There was 11.5-inch report in Beaver Dam. Here at the WISC-TV studios, we're at 8.2 inches, 8 inches in Baraboo, 7 inches officially at Mitchell Field, Milwaukee, and the Dane County Regional Airport checked in with 6.1 inches of snow. Still have alert days in the forecast for the potential for blowing and drifting snow in rural areas tonight. Wind chills by morning could be as cold as 35 below zero, with actual air temperatures between 5 and 10 below zero. And then we've been saying this over and over again, but dangerously cold weather expected for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're expecting low temperatures down to 25 below zero for a couple of those mornings with wind chills, perhaps as cold as 40 to 60 below zero. Daytime high temperatures staying below zero for an extended period of time. Wednesday, we might not get out of the middle teens below zero, and on that day, wind chills could be as cold as minus 45, even in the warmest part of the day. Now, the snowstorm is gone. A couple of flurries being reported around the La Crosse area. That's about it. This is actually with just a little passing batch of clouds, but to the west, the temperatures are starting to drop off. Notice here, we're still in the single digits, but starting to see below zero weather showing up across parts of Minnesota and North Dakota, and that's heading in our direction. We'll be here by early tomorrow morning. Notice the winds coming out of the northwest and sweeping right down around that big storm system, which is now pushing through Michigan. Winds brisk, but not as strong as they'll be tomorrow, and those wind chills right now, 2 below zero in Madison, but notice start seeing teens and 20s below zero across Minnesota. And look at these future track wind chills by tomorrow morning down to 30 to 35 below zero. During the day tomorrow, staying around 30 below zero, and then down to around 60 below zero by early on Wednesday morning. Even during the day on Wednesday, wind chills between 40 and 45 below zero, and then back down to about 50 to 55 below zero Thursday morning. A little less wind, but temperatures might be a couple of degrees colder. And then as we start to come out of it, still 15 below zero wind chills during the day on Thursday. We'll have to wait until Friday afternoon before we start feeling like temperatures are above zero. So for that reason, wind chill warnings are in effect for pretty much the entire Midwest. They go into effect officially here in Madison and areas to the east at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Before then, we have wind chill advisories that start at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. It's pretty quiet out there, but boy, you just step out the door and you know it's cold. High today 21. Low temperature this morning started out at 3 before the temperatures climbed to around 21. 7, the current temperature right now, the wind chill is at 2 degrees below zero. Low temperatures this morning, teens and 20s below zero up to the north, and that's the bitterly cold air that'll be dropping southward over the next couple of days. So again, wind chill advisories in effect through tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, and then wind chill warnings through Thursday morning. Low of 7 below zero, wind chills down to 35 below zero by morning. High tomorrow staying below zero. It'll be windy and bitterly cold, and wind chills 20 to 30 below zero. Those temperatures down to about 7 below tomorrow morning. High temperatures struggling to near zero tomorrow, and then dropping to the 20s below zero for tomorrow night. And Wednesday, high temperatures only staying in the middle teens below zero. As we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, you'll see those temperatures remaining bitterly cold through Thursday, but then a rapid warm up. We're in the 30s by Saturday and Sunday with the possibility for even some rain showers to mix in with snow showers. Temperatures cool off a little bit toward the middle part of next week, but at least we're out of the deep freeze for a while. If nothing else, that's the best news there.
Yeah, we just got to get through these next few days.
We certainly do. Through,
yeah.
No pun intended.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Madness officially begins at Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta. We'll take you to opening night in sports.
Badger men's basketball team is ranked 24th in this week's Associated Press poll. Marquette is up to 10th in today's rankings. The Badgers arrive safely in Nebraska tonight. They'll play Tim Miles' Cornhuskers tomorrow night. Nebraska's 3-6 in the Big Ten, lost one of their top players for the season when Isaac Copeland tore his ACL last Saturday.
You know, their backs are against the wall. You know, that's part of it. Playing in a tough Big Ten conference, you can go through ups and downs. You know, we've experienced it. There's kind of hills and valleys within it. But you know what? At this point of the season, everyone's got to be desperate. Everyone has that sense of urgency.
I love the Nebraska Stadium. There's not a lot to do out there, so a lot of the fans come out, a lot of students come out there, so it's always really upbeat game, a lot of fans, a great atmosphere, so it's definitely a fun place to play.
With spring training about 2 weeks away, tomorrow night is the 38th annual Dugout Club baseball banquet at the Madison Marriott West with Brewers farm director Tom Flanagan, catcher Jacob Nottingham, and Madison's own Sophia Minard from the broadcast team. After making the National League Championship Series last season, the Brewers hope to do that and more in 2019.
This is kind of the window we're in right now. We've got a nice little window right here where everybody's under control, and we can kind of go for it here these next couple of years, and that's what everybody's shooting for.
And you'll know more definitely when guys get their first day of spring training. You know, you see it in their eyes, see if they really want it. And like I said, this is a great group. So no doubt in my mind, they'll be ready to go. Seems like everyone has been working hard, you know, working out, getting ready to go.
Our next Prep Mania game of the week is Thursday when Verona visits Sun Prairie in Big 8 girls basketball, weather permitting. Brof joins me Thursday night, 7:15 for the game live on channel3000.com. The Bucks' Giannis Antetokounmpo is the NBA's Eastern Conference Player of the Week for the 5th time this season. Giannis averaged 31 points, almost 16 rebounds, and 4 assists for the Bucks last week. The Bucks' 5-game road trip started with a loss at Oklahoma City last night. Tomorrow the Bucks are at Detroit before hitting Toronto, Washington, and Brooklyn before returning home a week from Wednesday for a rematch with the Wizards at Fiserv Forum. NBA tonight, the Golden State Warriors winning streak now 11. The Dubs won at Indiana 132-100. Steph Curry, 26 points, 6 3-pointers. Golden State 36-14, just percentage points behind the Bucks for the best record in the NBA. Super Bowl Media Day used to be on Tuesday, but now they've made it a television event, called it Super Bowl Opening Night. That's tonight in Atlanta. Both Patriots and Rams players and coaches were grilled with important questions of the day, like do you believe in voodoo, or is a ram a noun or a verb? Here's Tom Brady on the Patriots season.
But I really feel like this team came together when we needed to. We came together as a group of men that, you know, gave everything they could for this one goal, was to get to this game. And, you know, the book hasn't ended. There's one chapter left, and hopefully we can make it a great chapter.
Sunday in Atlanta, Super Bowl 53, the Los Angeles Rams, the New England Patriots at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's right here on Channel 3. Kickoff just after 5:30 p.m. Sunday, and we'll be right back.
Gary's here with a final check.
Temperatures right now still above 0, but you factor in the winds, and it feels like it's a little below 0, but those temperatures and wind chills will drop. Take a look by Wednesday morning. Those are actual wind chills down to about 50 to 60 below 0 through much of southern Wisconsin. Even during the day on Wednesday, those wind chills staying around 40 below 0 and down to 55 below 0 by Thursday morning.
All right, check with News 3 this morning for the latest on possible school closings. Have a good night.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.